Hello, my name is Mrs. Overish, and this is Math Mania for 1st and 2nd graders. I am so glad you are here today. Let's learn something new in math. Today we're going to be talking about comparing two three-digit numbers. All you need today is a piece of paper, a pencil, and maybe some markers and crayons if you have them. All right, let's get started. First, we talk about our I can statement. Our I can statement says, I can compare two three-digit numbers based on the value of hundreds, tens, and ones using the symbols greater than, less than, and equal to. All right, let's break that apart just to make it a little bit easier. So first we can look at that word compare. What are we doing when we're comparing two numbers? All we really are doing is looking at the differences. So when I think of this word compare, I can think of just looking at differences. Then I can go on. I can look at the differences of two three-digit numbers. That makes it a little bit easier. We also have this word value. It says based on the value of the hundreds, tens, and ones place. Well, all that word value means is what something's worth. Sometimes we talk about the value of money or the value of something we own. We might talk about the value of a number as well in math. So the value is how much something is worth. Then we also have our word symbols. We're going to be using those greater than, less than, and equal to symbols today. But what does that word mean? Well, a symbol, all it is a mark or a sign that helps us represent a relationship between something. So I'm just going to write those words mark or sign. And when I think I can look at the difference or compare two three-digit numbers based on the value or the worth of the hundreds, tens, and ones using symbols, marks, or signs greater than, less than, and equal to. Makes it sound a little bit easier, doesn't it? In math, we use different kinds of tools to help us solve problems. So I'm going to be using two tools today. And one tool is our place value mat. We have now used this in the first 2 weeks. So hopefully you're getting really familiar with our place value mat. It helps us organize our hundreds, tens, and ones places in a three-digit number. We're also going to be using a number line today. And my number line only goes up to 20, but we know a number line, it has an arrow on each end, which means that it goes for infinity. So our number line today is going to help us look at numbers in number order. We talked about symbols in the I can statement, and the symbols that we're specifically using today are those less than, greater than, and equal to symbols. Let's talk a little bit about what those symbols mean. First, we see our less than symbol. I have some words drawn on either side of my symbol because I know when I'm putting the symbol between two numbers, that small end is going to go towards the smaller number. And my big end is going to go opening up towards my bigger number. I also have then our greater than sign. Our greater than sign is just the less than sign flipped towards the bigger number. So when I'm reading it as a sentence, it all depends on if the bigger number or the smaller number comes first, on which symbol I'm going to use. But they mean the same thing. So this one's still my big end. My big opening goes up towards my big number, and my small one goes towards the small number. Then we also have our equal sign, which we see when we use addition and subtraction sentences. And our equal sign, we know when we have an equal sign in between an addition sentence, that's showing us that two sides may have the same number. So our equal sign is going to show us the exact same thing when we're comparing two three-digit numbers. On the board, I have 583 and 532. Let's put them in our place value mat to help us. I see 583. So I know a 5 is going to go in my hundreds place. Then we have 80. I know 80 also means 8 tens. So I can put an 8 in my tens place. And 3 for 3 ones. I'm going to do the same thing with my next number. 530 or 3 tens and 2. So now that I have both my numbers in my place value mat, I'm going to go from my hundreds place to smaller to see which one is bigger. Well, first I start with a 5 in the hundreds place for both numbers. I don't even know if I can really stack these guys up. But if they're equal, that means I need to now look at the tens place. So when I look at my tens place, I see I have an 8 and a 3. So I have an 8 and the 3. Which number is bigger? You're right. Our 8 is bigger. When I think of 8 or 8 tens being 80, I know that 80 is going to be bigger than my 3 tens or 30. So now I know 583 is the bigger number. But what am I going to do? I need to draw my symbol that the big side opens up to my big number. So I draw my symbol opening up to 583. And now when I read it, I can read it as 583 is greater than 532. Now we're going to practice this all together. And we're going to do this by making a comparing numbers book. So what you're going to need are your 2 pieces of paper. And we're just going to fold them like we were making a book. Boop. And I'm going to do my best to line up my corners before I crease. And I crease it. Now, if you have a stapler at home, you could put a little staple in this to keep your 2 pages together. If you had a little piece of tape, you could even put a little piece of tape on the corner just to keep your book together. Or when you're finished with it, you can put it in a folder or keep it somewhere safe so all your pages stay neat and nice. Once you're done folding it, I want you to give it a title. I created the title Comparing Numbers. So when you're finished, it might look something like this. I used markers and I decorated it. Made it look all nice. So I know that if this is sitting on my table, when I open this book, it's going to be a book full of me comparing 3-digit numbers. All right, let's get started. Our first one is going to be 452 and 831. I want you to put this to the top of your first page. We're going to write our sentence down at the bottom. 452, 831. First, I'm going to look at the hundreds place of both numbers. Well, again, when I listen to and read this number, I hear 400. So I know that the 4 is in my hundreds place. When I come over here and I see 800, I know that the 8 is in my hundreds place. Well, when I look, I have an 8 and a 4. Which number is bigger? You're right, my 8 is bigger. So I know that this number is going to be the larger number. So which symbol am I going to put inside? Well, I'm going to have my symbol open up to my bigger number. So I have my symbol open up to 831. And now I can write 452 is less than 831. And when you're finished, your book will look something like this. 452 is less than 831. And then we read it again. 452 is less than 831. So we have 658, 612. Let's look at our hundreds place first. I hear 600 and I hear 600. So it looks like they have the exact same number in the hundreds place. So what number should we look at next? That's right, we need to look at the numbers in the tens place. So I come back to my first number and I hear 650. 50 I know is 5 tens. And then I come over here, 610. 10 is 1 10. And so I know that I have a 5 in the tens place and a 1 in the tens place. Well, when we look at our number line, is 5 bigger than 1? You're right, it is. So I know that 658 is bigger than 612. So I'm going to draw my sign that opens up to the bigger number. And then I can write it in a sentence that says 658 is greater than 612. So when you're done with your page in your book, it will look like this. 658 is greater than 612. And again in word form, 658 is greater than 612. The last one is 325 and 325. Let's look at the place values of both of these numbers. I first look at number 325. I hear 300, so I know that a 3 is in my hundreds place. I want to go look at my other number. I hear 300. So they have the same number in the hundreds place. So that means we need to look at our tens place next. Then I hear 320. 20 is 2 tens. 320. 20 is 2 tens. And then 325. So I have a 5 in my ones place. 325, a 5 in my ones place. So that means my numbers are exactly the same. They have the same digit in each spot. So what symbol do I need to put? If the numbers are equal to each other, that means I need to put my equal sign. So I draw my equal sign in between my two numbers, and then I can write the sentence 325 is equal to 325. And when you're done with your book, you'll say 325 is equal to 325, and 325 is equal to 325. So now I have a little challenge for you today. I'm going to hold up a card, and this card is either true or false. Remember, true means it's right, and false means it's not right. So you're going to decide, is this statement using our greater than, less than, or equal to symbols true or false? Let's go. What about 118 is less than 881? You're right, this one's true. What about 234 is less than 423? You're right, this one's true too. What about 79 is greater than 97? No, I saw that 7 in my tens place and my 9, and I knew that this one is going to be bigger. False. What about 999 is equal to 999? You're right, that is true. They have the same digit in every place. It gets a star. 498 is greater than 948. False. 121 is less than 112. False. 121 is greater than 112. You're right. This one is true. I won't throw this one. 433 equals 334. They don't have the same number in the hundreds place. False. What about 238 is less than 147? False. Then we have 868 is greater than 369. You're right, this one's true. And our last one is 555 is less than 644. You're right, we get to end with a star because this one is true as well. You all did such a nice job today, and now you know how to use symbols to compare three-digit numbers. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Mrs. Overish, and this is Math Mania. I'll see you next time.